Hey Taurus sisters, it's Amy. I want to tell you a couple stories, and I want to encourage you to homeschool your kids if the Father has put that in your heart. So the first story is a couple weekends ago I went to a fabulous conference, and I got to stay up late chatting with some ladies, making easy. And one awesome mom asked, she said, my daughter has, I think she said, a learning disability, and should I homeschool her? What do you think, Amy? And she had barriers to homeschooling, which is understandable. There are barriers to homeschooling, and her barriers were legitimate. And I told her that if she cannot homeschool, it's not a sin to send your kids to school. And for some families, that's the best thing for the family. And I spoke the truth. I believe that. It's not a sin to send your kids to school. And in some families, they absolutely cannot. A lot of single moms, I'm a single mom, a lot of single moms absolutely cannot homeschool. So I'm not telling you have to homeschool, but what I wish, and then another mom at the table spoke up, and she gave really great wisdom, and her answer was way better than my answer. Like, I just sort of gave her permission to put her kids in school, right? Not that I'm the boss of her, but that's all I did. I said, it's permitted to put your kids in school. This other mom, much wiser than me, said, my number one regret was not homeschooling. I think she said her oldest kid. That's a powerful answer. Much more powerful and meaningful than my answer. And I've heard that from lots of moms over the years, is that they regret not homeschooling their kids. She wasn't giving advice. She just was sharing her own regret and experience. Very powerful, very just wise thing to say. And the second story is my own story. This might be one of the last times you see me wearing scrubs, because my job, I work from home. I'm a nurse. I work from home almost entirely. I have a flexible schedule, and I do this because I homeschool. And that's my number one priority, is to be with my kids as much as I can and to homeschool them. And my bosses just told me they want me to come into the office 2 whole days a week. And I just got back from telling them no. And that was hard. I've never told them no before, but I told them no. And I might lose my job. And it was hard. It was a hard thing to do. But I am determined to homeschool until the Father completely shuts every door. I am determined to do everything I can to stay home and homeschool my kids. So while with my mouth, I told that lady, it's permissible to send your kids in school, my own actions show that I'm willing to do really hard things to keep my kids home. And the Father has been faithful. I mean, when my husband left a few years ago, ladies, I thought there was no way I could homeschool. He makes a way. And it's not because I'm awesome. It's because he's good, and he provides, and he figures it out. So my encouragement to you ladies right now, and I'm talking to ladies who are like on the fence. You have this little part of your heart that wants to homeschool. You want to pull your kids out of school, or you're starting to feel convicted, or your husband is starting to feel convicted, but you're not, and not convicted like it's a sin, but like this desire to bring your kids home and out of the schools. You're the ones I'm talking to, because when you have a little part of you that wants to do it, then all those barriers and objections start coming up. Oh, you can't do it because you don't know enough, or you can't do it because you need to work, and how are you going to make money, or all these barriers, or my kid is a really terrible kid. He needs the discipline of the school system, which is actually the opposite, I think. But all these, or my kid is a special needs kid, all these barriers, and they are legitimate. They are things to consider. I want to encourage you to, one foot in front of the other, start overcoming those barriers. Start breaking them down. Just make the decision to keep your kids home, and then figure out the barriers one at a time. And I could make tons of videos about all of those barriers. I will say that Homeschooling Torah, my friend Ann she just had like a Homeschooling Torah conference, and I will link to her YouTube channel. She just had a ton of videos, and she's also has lots of videos and resources, homeschoolingtorah.com, for homeschooling special needs kids and all sorts of situations. I mean, there's so many kinds of curricula and options, and you know, you don't even have to do school in the morning. You can do school at night. Sometimes we do that with my work. We have, you know, upside down days where school is done in the evenings. That's okay. So whatever your barriers are, start figuring it out. If it's money, start figuring out the money. There are cheap and almost free ways to do it. If I lose my job because of this, I'm going to go to the HSLDA. I did this when I was first divorced. They gave me money. They give money to single moms who are in financial need. And sometimes a free membership too. So if I end up losing my job so that I can homeschool, I know that they're going to help me. And that's the Father providing. So it's really important. So with my mouth, I tell people it is permissible to put your kids in school. But my actions in my own life, I hope, demonstrate how important I think it is to homeschool our kids. Because I could work at the hospital, I could go back to college, I could really move up the career ladder there and make a ton of money. But I get one chance with my kids. One. You don't get any takebacks, you don't get any do-overs. You get one chance. And ultimately, it's between them and God how they turn out. We don't have complete control, but we have some control. And I want to do everything I can to disciple them the best, I think, way I know how, and that is to do it in an environment of homeschooling. So I keep being determined to make that happen for them. And they like it. They want to be homeschooled. I don't want to go work in the hospital 2 days a week and then put them in school. They don't even want that. So just pray, and it's not too late. You might think, oh, the school year is going to start in like half an hour. It's too late. It is not too late. That's a barrier. Overcome it. Start late. It's okay to start late. You don't have to start on September 4th or whatever. There's no, at least here in Michigan, there's no rules about that. The world is crazy. There's a lot of, there were a million reasons to homeschool before, and now there's like a million more. And a lot of you on my channel are new to Torah, and a lot of people, when they come to Torah and they see how much even the church has lied to us, you really start to get concerned about, your kids being in the schools even more. So I just encourage you to do it. Keep them home. Overcome the barriers. Another great resource is TorahFamilyLiving.com. I'll link to both of those. Heidi has a ton of homeschooling Torah related resources as well. There is a lot of help out there. There's groups and co-ops, and it's the kind of thing where it's really hard right now. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Homeschooling for me is not easy. And in a lot of ways, I wish my homeschool was better. But I have learned to not look at my girlfriends and their awesome homeschools, because I'm a single divorced working mom. My homeschool is not going to look like their homeschool. So you don't compare yourselves to other people. You just get the job done the best you can. And it'll be the hardest thing you ever did, but it will be the best thing you ever did. So that's it. Leave comments and encourage each other in the comments. Some of you mamas who wish you had homeschooled, will you tell us about it? Not as a way to feel guilty. Don't feel guilty. I don't think that's healthy. Don't be stuck in that. But encourage the other mamas that it's a big decision. So that's all. Thank you. Have a great Sabbath, friends. Bye.